It's 4 p.m. on a Friday. We're bringing developing news and stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon or the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao. Some stories we're watching on the last Friday of 2024. Last Friday 2024. Dato tayo malungkot?
Ha?
Dato tayo malungkot?
Parang hindi.
Hindi naman, no? Sige. It's been a rough 2024. December 27, 2024. The International Monetary Fund, or the IMF, says 36%, that's almost 1 out of every, that's almost 4 out of every 10 jobs in the Philippines are highly exposed to AI, artificial intelligence. Of this, 14% or 1 out of every 6, or 7, 1 out of every 7, are at risk for replacements. Still, the IMF notes that these jobs can be augmented by AI to boost productivity. ACT-CIS Party List Congressman Erwin Tulfo has once again topped another survey for senatorial preferences. This time it's the SWS, or the Social Weather Stations poll, conducted between December 12 and December 18. He was followed by incumbent Senators Bong Revilla, Bongo, and Pia Cayetano. Meantime, 8 party list groups received at least 2 percentage points in the SWS Voter Preference Survey. These include pagtibayan at palaguin ang pangkabuhayang Pilipino o yung 4Ps. Kaya siguro ng number 1 siya. ACT-CIS, Senior Citizens, member ka na rito. And Duterte Youth. Oh, sorry, not literally. Okay. SWS says this survey was commissioned by Strat-based consultancy. And joining us today, Storycon's resident senior citizen and political pundit, Tito Ronald Llamas.
Happy weekend! Happy last Friday of the year.
Oh, sa wakas, nagtatapos na ang 2024. Naway,
very turbulent year.
Naway, mas masaya at mas masigasig ang ating 2025. Hindi ba, Philippine Star Editor-in-Chief Ami Pamintuan?
Mukhang masaya si Ami dahil pulang-pula yan.
Siyempre, mas exciting yung next year, election year.
Oo naman, mas exciting nga ang next year. Ang daming nakatoka na maaaring mangyari at dapat mangyari. For example,
January 13 pa lang, may nakaschedule na malaking rally.
First 2 weeks pa lang.
Tapos yung impeachment pa, hindi ba? Yung impeachment lahat naghahanda na kahit hindi pa sigurado kung ipafile.
Oo nga eh.
Well, tingnan natin kung ano mangyari doon.
May abogado na eh. May abogado na si Sara Duterte, si Panelo, may ipapalit na kung sakaling ma-impeach. So,
talaga si Panero na isip ko si Tatay Duts eh.
Parang masanda pa sila eh, kaysa doon sa mga pro-impeachment eh.
Tingnan natin kasi pag malaki-laki ang January 13 eh, baka may mga bagay na hindi matuloy.
Posible eh.
Di ba? Alam mo naman yung ibang tao eh, pag makaamoy ng ng pulbura, hindi pulbura.
Posible. Pwede iba naman, mas mahamon. Diba?
Ay, tingin ko, hindi nangyayari.
Magkasubo ka na.
Parang hindi ganun dito eh.
Bago pa mag-New Year, iniintay natin yung budget, kung anong kalalabasan nun. Matatapos na daw, sabi ng Malacanang today.
December 30.
Monday.
Yung boss ko kasi dati,
almost done na daw.
pag nahamon ni-scale up ang kon.
Ganun ba?
Oo.
Ganun ba?
Oo.
Ang boss mo, ang...
Si Pinoy, pag inahamon mo yun.
Iba na isip kong boss mo dati na...
I-call na yun.
Iba na isip kong boss mo dati na nasa legislature ngayon.
Hindi makon eh.
Almost done yung budget. At nagsalita din yung DSWD. Sabi nila, hindi daw pork barrel yung mga ayuda. Kayo talaga. Hindi daw pork barrel.
Well, consistent naman DSWD. Consistent naman sila in saying na hindi yan pork barrel. And in a way naman kasi, hindi talaga siya pork barrel in the sense na...
Consistent din yung mga lawmaker, ano?
Oh. In a way, hindi naman siya pork barrel in the sense na it's... they're not programs that are post-enactment appropriated.
Hindi
naman siya ganun eh.
EPAL lang yan, EPAL project.
At least merong consistency.
May consistency na sa Pilipinas. In the same way na poverty is consistent here, and corruption is consistent here, and inefficiency is consistent here. We're very consistent.
Impunity is consistent. Katulad ng ginawa ni Cynthia Villar. Na tinakot yung mga tao sa Las Piñas. Delikado kayo pag hindi nyo kami iboboto. Hindi namin bibigay lupa.
Hindi, kaya lang naman nagkaroon na insinuation na pork barrel yun kasi nga doon sa sinabi ni Senator Grace po, di ba? 21 billion for the House, billion for the Senate.
Yes,
Kaya nagtataka ngayon, di ba?
Yes.
Clarify na yung DSWD pero walang maliwala ngayon eh.
Well, yun nga,
ako naniniwala. Ako, kahit si Ed, hindi. Ako naniniwala.
Ako naman kasi, let's do away with the labels. Let's go into what it really means.
Kung ano nangyayari.
Sa huli naman kasi, 5 billion, 21 billion,
ano ba naman yun? Petty cash lang yun eh.
Pagpapartihan niya in terms of sino yung makakapaglagay ng kanyang pangalan doon sa...
Makapag-posing.
Makapag-posing. So, maybe it's not pork barrel per se, but it is... Anyway.
pero yung lump sum talaga yun.
Lump sum rin yun.
Pero anong marites mo, Ami? Anong marites mo? Alin yung mga ibibito, line bito? Paano pag wala silang line bito, yung sinabi nila na ayusin yung mga inconsistency sa konstitusyon, hindi nila maayos.
Kailangan nilang ibaba yung ibang allocation. Yung mga dinagdag nila, kailangan tanggalin nila yon. That's unconstitutional eh.
Yes, pero
you cannot increase kung ano yung pinopose ng national under the National Expenditure Program. So kailangan ibalik nila yon. Pwede naman yung ibalik.
But that's consistently violated naman every year.
Yun yung unconstitutional. Hindi, yun yung unconstitutional eh. Apart from, mas malaki yung budget ng DPWH sa buong education sector.
Yan ang bago this year.
Hindi lang DepEd.
Yan ang bago this year. Pero yung una mong binanggit, every year naman yan eh.
Hindi, kaya siguro baka naiinis sila, bigla tuloy na highlight na ginagawa pala nila dati.
Nabuko.
Yan tuloy nasabit.
Nabuko.
Pag question yan buho sa Supreme Court, pati yan kasama na yan. Yung mga pagdadagdag nila sa NEP.
Lahat ng maaaring isama doon that are constitutionally questionable, isasama na doon, of course.
Masasama na yan.
Amiral, we have a guest this afternoon.
Yes.
Let's bring in our first guest for this afternoon. We have Assistant Secretary Mary Rose Magsaysay of the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center or yung CICC. Asek, magandang hapon po and thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Magandang hapon, Asek.
Good afternoon, Asek.
First time mo
rito.
Can
you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Ganda ng bandera mo sa likod, Ganda ng flag,
Oo nga, ganda ng background,
Asek, magandang hapon po.
I like the color kasi.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, before I go into some questions, kasi I've been seeing some articles about the CICC in the past few days regarding concerns over deepfakes and AI, especially with the coming elections, with the elections coming up next year. Before we go into that, give us a brief muna dun sa CICC kasi not too many people have heard about CICC.
Ano ba yung CICC? Ano bang functions niya?
Exactly, what do you do?
Yung budget nyo ba, tumaas o bumaba dito sa bagong budget?
Actually, tumaas, pero syempre, everybody will claim there's always insufficient amounts of money. But, government is limited resources, hindi naman sinabing endless. So, we have to make do. That's why we have research and development. So we don't have to keep on buying our tools.
That's true, ma'am. Pero mukhang mas unlimited yung resources pagdating sa ibang mga bagay-bagay like ayuda. Anyway, let's not go into that.
Huwag mo naman ilagay sa spot si Asek. Nilalagay mo sa spot si Asek.
Yes, but tell us about CICC. Exactly what do you do? I suppose you're under DICT. Is that correct? And exactly what do you do?
So the funny thing about the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, so we're not really so out there because we're not naman a Department of Tourism, di ba? We don't market things that we do and we're actually complementary to the growth of service of government to the people. So we handle that of everything that is anti-cybercrime. So we are the only agency, that is attached to the DICT. So there are 3 attached agencies to the DICT. Privacy, and then you have NTC, and then you have us, anti-cybercrime, which is kailangan naman na kasi, right? So, bago lang kami, and we became functional in 2019 when COVID came in because there were so many cybercrimes happening. So, you have other agencies that have units that have propagated their cyber capabilities, which is the PNP-ACG, Anti-Cybercrime Group. We have the DOJ OOC, Office of Cybercrime. We have the NBI Cyber. So these 3 major agencies they have growth of, they are just units inside an agency. Kami lang po yung nag-iisang agency na involved in everything cyber. So, nakatuto kami dyan.
Paano yung coordination nyo?
Yes.
Paano yung coordination nyo sa mga nabanggit nyo ng mga units?
May PNP, may DOJ,
meron ba kayong oversight? Meron ba kayong coordination? Yes. Anong role nyo vis-a-vis sila?
I don't believe in oversight na nowadays kasi everything is we work in parity. I think our exclusive capabilities is complementary to everybody's, which means to say yung digital forensics is talagang it's the big thing with us, no? So everything we complete all the digital evidences para may makulong na tao. We are the ones who extract it from everything that is computers or even yung mga cellphones ninyo. So we're the ones who extract the digital evidences. And then we're the ones who read the logs, we're the ones who look for the evidences inside, we're the ones who analyze it, then we put the recommendation and we complete the quantum of evidence para may makulong.
So even electoral fraud, pwede nyong pasukan?
Yes. Yeah. Talagang nandyan kami. We are partners. We have early on in the entrance of this administration, we have already a MOA with the Commission on Election because we're the ones who are actually specialized and have the complete tools to be able to assess if there is actually a breach or there are nuances if it's not, something is not normal. Basta not normal, titingnan namin yan. Ganun siya. Whether it's in the net or inside your computers or things happening inside the cyber world.
Ma'am, I'm seeing an article.
So, halimbawa kapag na-hack yung agency, sa inyo hihingi ng tulong?
Yes. Actually, lahat ng agencies, so the Cybersecurity Bureau, they're in charge of the cybersecurity, wala pang breach. Wala pang nangyayari. So they have to make sure, and they have to make sure that they don't make a mistake para kasi pag nagkaroon ng breach or there's a vector of attack kasi na breach, therefore it's already a crime, right? So pinapasa sa amin yan. So we're the ones who come in, we investigate, and we have the mandate to hold on to toxic data. Kasi ang digital evidence, pag nahawakan ng ibang ahensya o tao na walang mandate humawak ng ebidensya, nasisira po yan. Foot of the poison tree at tawag nila.
Pero kayo din yung tumutulong sa mga agency to set up their cybersecurity features. Kasi sinabi nun sa amin ni Ivan Uy, kulang na kulang daw actually tao ng department niya for cybercrime, for fighting cybercrime. I think wala pa yatang 20 yung niya. Yung at that time,
the Cybersecurity
Pero
Bureau.
ngayon, iba yun.
Okay. DICT is a whole agency. They have a small bureau inside there, the Cybersecurity Bureau. 20 ang tao. Kami sa CICs, we're about 300 people and we're generally about 70% technologists, developers, and cyber trained and certified personnel.
Asek, in the past, since 2019, ano na yung mga landmark or important cases na nahawakan nyo? At meron na ba kayong mga napakulong ng mga tao? Paano? Para maunawaan ng mga mamamayan, ano na yung mga nagawa nyo? At kung meron silang mga reklamo, ay pwede silang dumulog sa inyong opisina.
Okay, so what you have to understand, yung chain, no? Yung chain ng activity. No? Pag may cybercrime, pwede silang tumawag sa 1326, yan ang hotline natin.
1326.
Hindi po yan vendor. Talagang mga taga sa ahensya ho namin, we have about 80 people who are there who are handling the cases kasi ang salaysay is already digital evidence. So we don't give it to a private sector. There's no private sector anything with us. So when that happens, we take care of the call, no? And then we assess it kung kailangan ipadala sa police para imbestigahan, magkaroon ng human intelligence, ang tawag dyan, no? Then we send the complaint to the police. Usually ganyan. Pero kapag may digital evidence na we can work with it, like for example, na-breach yung kanyang Meta or yung Facebook account niya, kaagad-agad pwede naming i-recoup yan. Right in that call itself, we can help the people to recoup all their other account na take over ng whoever. Kasi ang gagawin ng criminal is they take over an account, right? And then they look at they chat all your contacts, uutang sila. So every single cybercrime is a crime that is used to get money. They call it fintech crimes. So usually dyan talaga pupunta yan. It's a big business. It's an organized crime. Transnational organized crime.
How about money laundering? Paano sinasabi ng iba, isa tayo sa pinaka-vulnerable sa money laundering?
Oh.
No? Do you also coordinate with AMLA, with other agencies involved sa money laundering?
You know, the thing with AMLA and everything that is with the banking system, they have the central bank, and the central bank has the same capabilities, a little bit lesser than us. No, we coordinate with the central bank. We help them put up their fintech capabilities, their blockchain forensics capabilities. We help them put it up. They have a certain tool that they can look kung saan napunta yung mga pera, no? So maski ikaw, nagpadala ka ng pera to somebody, mistake or kinuha yung pera sa'yo, nahahanapan ho natin yan. There are tools that does that. We have the one that is yung all the bells and whistles. The central bank has a different version, yung mas lesser, yung kailangan lang na. So, sila, they want to be able to solve their own cases. They have their own parang korte, may sarili silang korte nila. So, as much as they want to ask our help, they will ask our help kung hindi nila kaya. Pero usually, they want to solve their own.
On their own.
So yan, yung mga, they want to solve their own.
There was an
Kasi
article...
recently, nagkaroon ng problema sa, sa e-wallets, particularly GCash. Nakonsulta ba kayo? Saka anong latest na doon? Ano na nangyari ron?
We had so much complaints. In fact, we called on GCash and we're working together with GCash to be able to find out what is really happening. Kasi there are a lot of ways that the messages were sent to the people. No, alam niyo yung pag kayo nakakakuha ng message, pag tinignan niyo yung kung sino nagsisend, walang telephone number, mga text blasters po 'yan.
Yes.
And the prevalence of such is existing in our country, and they will just type the name of Globe there, send you messages of Globe, then eventually they will ask you to press a link. Pero hindi si Globe yan. So what we do is we geolocate, we try to look for this. So we have a coordination with them because they're helping us really find this. No? So it's more complex than you think. But we encourage you to call 1326 CICC hotline because every single call and number and instance that we put on, we get to be able to find out where exactly are these text blasters roaming around. Sometimes it's in a car, sometimes it's in a tower. So talagang it's cheaper kasi to steal that way. So that's what usually happens. No? So they are helping us as much as we want to say, kasalanan ni Globe. But the thing is, we both know, Globe and I both know, that it's not them or their names are being used. And so with other also wallets and other financing companies, their names are being used to be able to extract money from the people. So please report 1326. I'm not saying mag-whistleblow. I'm telling you to help us find the cyber criminals.
Yeah. ASEC, more than 2 years ago, pina-register lahat ng SIM cards. I thought yung reason dyan para mapigilan yung ganitong klaseng mga cyber crimes. Bakit very prevalent pa rin? Anong naging problema?
Oh, okay. So, the thing is, as I've mentioned to you, it's not coming from a regular, it's not even coming sometimes from a SIM card. It's coming from a platform. Okay? So, that's how complex it is. It's not just, actually nabawasan, and then they became creative. The cyber criminals became creative. They found ways to be able to send you the messages. Because the messages sometimes doesn't just come from text. It comes from Messenger. It comes from other social media that we have access to. Remember, whenever you go into a platform, that's a whole cloud on its own. Every single platform or program is a cloud on its own, and it has the tendency to extract all your details if you allow their cookies to do that.
But I do remember earlier this year and a part of last year na may mga nahuhuli, may mga na-raid kung saan
Yes,
daang-daang
we
mga
raided.
pre-registered SIM cards o parang ganun registered
Yes,
SIM cards
that's true.
ang nakukumpiska. And that raises questions parang how are they able to register or pre-register a few hundred SIM cards at one time? And sino mga pagmumukha ang niregister nila doon?
Bawal na yun.
In fact, thousands. In fact,
Thousands, okay.
in our raid, the first raid last year, okay? The first raid last year was yung Pogo sa Pasay.
Yeah.
Okay. Even the lead in Cavite came from us. Okay. Yung mga nakikita yung mga Pogo, those are leads coming from reports from us. And pag sinabi ng DOJ OOC, kami ang lead sa raid, sure. Kami, okay lang. Pag sinabi ng PNP, kami ang lead, sure, okay lang. It doesn't really matter to us. Because what matters to us is that we help solve the cybercrime. We help in the Pogo in Pasay. I think I sent Mr. Santillan, who contacted me a while ago, a lot of the materials for you to be able to see what we've been doing. We've been very hot on kidnapping because they've been using, of course, the cell phone to be able to contact the relatives. And yan talaga, pagka yung life and death, mabigat kaming, within 48 hours, our agency have a lead. Usually, ganun kami ka-intent pag life and death. And OSAIC-CSAIM. So, CICC as the first in the world, OSAIC-CSAIM Digital Forensics Lab dedicated to the women and children. Kasi syempre hindi pwede maghalo yung mga nakukuha naming evidences ng mga bata na alam nyo na hinahalay. So we separated that, no? So tayo yan, Philippines ang may ganyan. Medyo naiiba ang approach natin.
Ma'am, kami lang ako.
Check, balikan ko lang yung sinabi mo, yung sa GCash.
Yeah.
Sabi mo, you're urging people to report para ma-solve natin yung problema. Meron na bang case na na-solve actually? May nagreklamo na budul-budul sa using GCash at na-actually trace yung account holder na nang budul sa kanya?
Yes. Okay. Ang ko lang, yung kinasasama ko na ng loob, pag minsan natatakot yung tao, nabalikan siya, hindi ho nila tinutuloy yung pag-complain. Doon ako nasisiraan ng loob. No? Parang akin yung maglakas loob kayo ng konti. Kasi pag hindi ho natin sinasampulan itong mga ito na hinuhuli ng mga pulis para sa CICC, CICC gets the lead. We call the police for the humid. We work together. Pag nahuli nila, they bring us the computers and the cell phones, and we do the digital forensics and extract the digital evidences, tas kinakasuhan yan. We have actually, for the record, yung nakapagpakulong na yung sa Pogo, which is in Iloilo, there were 2 judges there na talagang hindi ho nila hinintuan hanggang hindi ho nakulong yung mga iba yung bansa na nagpapatakbo ng Pogo doon sa isang lugar malapit sa kanila. So yun, talagang dinire-diretso namin. In the other cases, we have surrendered the evidences we found to be able for the police. Kasi sila ho yung may mandate na manghuli. Kami ho yung may mandate magsiyasat, mag-analyze at magbuo ho ng mga ebidensya.
ASEC, may coordination ba kayo sa ibang bansa, sa ibang international agencies in relation dun sa cybercrime?
Yes. In fact, the CICC is the only agency in the whole Philippines that completely coordinated with the UN Ad Hoc Committee on Cybercrime. We represented the Philippines in that creation of the new treaty. And from start to finish, maski COVID times, we were there in New York and in Vienna. Nilagay natin lahat na makailangan ng Pilipinas. As early as 2022, stinrest namin sa kanila, importante yung CII, importante na imbestigahan yung mga kumpanya kasi they're part of the chain kung saan ang panloloko nangyari. So ito mga naiibang ayaw pag-usapan na topics to sa ibang mundo, pero pinush natin yan sa UN Ad Hoc Committee on Cybercrime. Pati ang AI, we mentioned that last year, 2023 January, sa UNODC Ad Hoc Committee on Cybercrime where the treaty was being created. And I got the flack for that. Parang feeling ko, bad news bears back. Kasi I try to talk about things that are barely talked about. And then, lo and behold, 2024, talagang sabog na sabog ang AI. Ginagamit sa atin. We can use it positively, but it's being used against us, di ba? So, we try to focus on good parts where AI can be used. And madami naman talaga.
Moving forward dito sa parating na midterm election, ASEC, at saka itong campaign period na magsisimula sa February, anong ginagawa niyong measures? Dahil I'm almost 100% sure ay ito-dominate yan ng mga iba't ibang klase ng hacking, trolling, no? At sana hindi mangyari, baka pati yung election natin ay maging vulnerable, no? Dahil 100% computerized na yung ating eleksyon, no? Kaya ano bang mga pwedeng gawin ng DICT, ng CICC at other agencies at saka units na binanggit nyo kanina para ma-mitigate, mabawasan ito at kung sana mapigilan itong mga threats na ito sa parating na eleksyon?
For the incoming elections, definitely they're going to be using AI in all of its regalia, full form, no? Even as we use, for example, dito, parang ang cute-cute kong tignan, no? Kasi it's a filter. May pagka-AI siya, I'm 58, but I look younger here because Zoom has a lot of and then how do we tell the people I'm using AI, no? Do we put a caveat, no? So CICC has Project Acuity, and we've gone through 19 regions already. And tinuturuan namin in the dialect lahat ng mga kasama natin. The farther, the better. Ayun ang ginagawa namin. No? So that program, we have reached about 30,000 people already, and we're going to go big. Next year, DICT is helping us. Secretary Ivan Uy is our chairman. My boss is Yusek Alex Ramos, and we're heavy on educating the people kasi 90% of the problem in cyber is the people, no? The people using it, the people nagpipipindot, the people not knowing what the rights are to be able to report kung may mali o tama, the people who are prone to be able to marketing, no? And going in and out of platforms that are free. Anything that is free, kayo ho ang produkto. Data nyo ang sinisip-sip dyan. So you be careful. You only use the net or the phones and the computers for education, for earning money, for good stuff, and you try to limit what you put there. If you don't want yourself to be breached, limit what you put in the net, because if there is such a thing as forever, that is anything you put in your phones or your computers.
Ma'am, you have
there's
an
a lot of
article
speculative
here.
reports, no, about Chinese spying. Pangalanan na natin yung bansa. Chinese spying on the Philippines. No, meron bang may basis ba yon? Yung mga reports na yon, haka-haka lang ba yon?
Oh, I will not put it at just one country. No, I think all the countries. That's why we have 100 bilaterals, which means to say CICC has initiated 100 technical cooperation bilaterals with 100 countries, which means to say na pag nag-a-attend tayo sa UN, hindi natin sinasayang yung oras nandoon tayo. Kinakausap na natin yung mga ibang bansa doon that there should be flow of investigative information for investigative lead, no? And yung parity of skills sa Pilipinos, inaaura na natin na magagaling tayo mga technologies, no? So, kumbaga, we can use that same purpose to be able to gain some traction for the Filipinos who are really good OFWs, no? So, yes, we have coordination with a lot of countries. China has been with us for the longest time and as our neighbor, right? And they have a lot of mga platforms then that we use and equipment that we use, and sometimes we get to be able to see that a lot of our info gets to be kept inside our phones, no? So sometimes, 'di ba, kami na lang nag-i-investigate, no? You tell me, ma'am, pakihanap ho kung paano nangyari yung breach. It happened in my phone. Your phone, how many places does your phone keep your information? Each and every app there keeps your information in their own clouds, okay? Your phone has its own cloud. Your SIM card has its own data na nag-iipon. Your SD card. So, ngayon, if you have 20 apps there, hahanapin ko sa 20 apps doon kung saan nangyari yung breach. Kasi 20 clouds din yon, di ba? Then hahanapin ko pa kung saan sa telepono mo nangyari yon. So, it's as complicated as it can get. That's why we keep on saying to the people, don't feel bad for trying to educate you kung paano gamitin nyo yung telepono nyo ethically and not to put anything there you don't need to put there. No? Kailangan tayo, kumbaga, gipitin natin sila sa impormasyon. Gamitin lang natin sa tama ang teknolohiya para guminansya ang buhay natin. Other than that, medyo hindi maganda kung pinapakita natin yung mga anak natin na naglalaro, yung mga bata, because some people have a knack for child porn. And that's where OSAIC CSAM is very heavy on. So please, do not show the faces of your children. Do not go into free apps, please. Limit yourself, and we will be teaching everybody about this in the dialect all over the whole Philippines, and that's Project Acuity for you from CICC.
Mabalikan ko lang yung binanggit kanina ni Tito Ronald. Elections are coming up. Your organization has raised concerns over the prevalence of deep fakes. How big a problem is this going to be in the elections, and how do we combat that? Kasi you can for 100 plus pesos you can download an app that can change your voice, change your face, put your face saying something else, and so on down the line. And you can have that happening by the time the campaign period rolls around.
Dagdag lang sa tanong ni Ed, Asek. Yung North America kasi at saka Europe, hindi black and white yung pag-divide nila sa crime at saka freedom of expression. May malaking gray area. Even the big IT firms ay active sila sa mitigation, sa prevention, pero yung dadalin sa batas, medyo hindi sila masyadong active dahil nga merong usapin ng freedom of expression. Kayo ba may ganun kayong dilema? Yung ganung klaseng issue between freedom of expression and cybercrime?
Okay, freedom of expression, I'm for that, 100%.
Yes.
But you have to remember, with that freedom of expression comes the responsibility that if you say something, pananagutan mo yan, di ba? You can say as much as you want if you want to, pero kung may mali ka sinabi, panagutan mo yan. No? So that part, I think, is that ethical behavior in the internet. Now with the Europe and the US, in my 3 years of attending the ADO Committee in Cybercrime, you cannot imagine how much debate we have when it comes to that. Kasi, kumbaga, sa ibang bansa, ang bata is 8 years old. Sa ibang bansa, hanggang 18 bata. Di ba? That alone, Diyos ko, ang tagal-tagal pinagdedebatehan yan. At the end of the day, kung saan nangyari ang crime, kung ano yung batas doon sa bansang yon, yun yung mananaig. Kasi doon mangyayari ang sa korte nila. Korte na kung saan nangyari ang krimen. So, dyan nyo titignang mabuti kung saan nangyari ang krimen, yung batas nun, yun ang mananaig. So it does not matter kung si Europe, naiisip ng ganon. Let them think of what they have because they have their own culture, they have their own ways, they have their own mga sariling paniniwala as well as us. But instinctively for the Filipinos, we have a very mature number of laws that details exactly what are the responsibilities of the people when it comes to crimes, which also goes double up pag cybercrime siya. So ganun na nangyayari sa atin at this point.
Let me just show you an example. This one is still up. This is a deep fake video that makes it appear like our newscast is endorsing what is called the Starlink modem, which is a fake. It's not true. Ang galing na magkakagawa yung bibig, yung boses. It's all I can imagine it's all AI in the deep faking.
Yeah, it is. Definitely. What are we going to do?
We exposed this 2 weeks ago. Hanggang ngayon it's still up. The company, the website, the Facebook profile is still up, and we exposed this 2 weeks ago already.
My question. Okay, my question is, where did you report? Did you report it? Is it about you? We need the trigger.
I told the people upstairs.
Yun pala nakalimutan ko sabihin. The government needs trigger. We need a trigger, a report, so that we can follow for the case, file it and document it. So, did you report it to alam ko marami, no? May CICC, may PNP-ACG, may DOJ-OOC, may and so on and so forth, Privacy Commission, iba-iba, right? So, may NBI pa pala. So, it doesn't matter where you report it, but when you report it, you have to follow up. Pag hindi nag-follow up, my suggestion is you call CICC.
Okay.
Mas parang,
with the
kasi
hotline.
In totality, yun lang ang trabaho namin So I suggest you call 1326.
Okay. Kasi you can imagine, by election time, maraming ganyan
Yes. Okay.
1326.
Yes.
Maraming salamat.
Okay, maraming
Kasi
salamat
ako, nabudol ako sa GCash. Hindi ko nahabol. Akin na, pinailan lang sa file. Case filed, I reported it to the Manila Police District.
Magkano nakuha sa'yo? Magkano nakuha sa'yo, Ami?
Si Mr. Santillan has my number. You please report it to us. Wala akong ano dyan. We will follow it up.
Okay.
Hindi kasi kami yung may tools. Actually, we're the ones who train the PNP ACG. We train the WCPC. We train everybody, even the on how to handle breaches, how to put up their security operating centers. So kaya hindi nyo kami masyado nakikita. We try to beef up the government first. Di ba government is lead? Mauna tayo mag-ayos ng sarili natin. So that's why nauna sila. But this 2025, the whole onboarding of the small and medium scale in the public, magano kami, full on kami doon.
Okay, maraming salamat, Assistant Secretary Mary Rose
Salamat,
Cybercrime Investigation.
Salamat for a very informative episode.
Thank you, Asek.
Imbitahin namin kayo, Asek, ulit. No? Dahil kapos pa yung ating usapan.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bitin.
Yung sabi ko kanina, kasi may isang website na nakita ko, maglagay ka ng kahit picture ng kahit sino, isang photo, tapos mag-upload ka ng 1-minute voice clip, tapos type in anything you want him to say, gagawin yung bibig, sasabihin niya with that voice.
Hindi, ang tanong nga, may nagrereklamo ba? Halimbawa, yung pinakita mo kanina. No, dapat may nagrereklamo.
Ako, nagreklamo ako. Nag-file ako.
Okay.
Meron akong affidavit, kompleto, lahat.
One last can you give me 1 minute?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay. We have research and development. We actually asked money from DOST, kaya lang na-deny kami. Hindi ko alam kung bakit. But we are developing our own tools kasi ang mahal-mahal ng tools. So we're making the SOC in a box, Security Operating Center in a box. And we wanted to the entry barrier to solving cybercrimes will be cheaper. So, mas mura. Kasi bawat unit ng police, magbibigyan na namin pagkakataon makapag-imbestiga with a better set of tools coming from CICC.
Yes, ma'am.
So, that's coming up soon.
Yes, ma'am. Part namin kayo before the end of the year. So, we'll get back to you in a week.
December 31 sana.
Ingat po. You're watching Star One News. We just need to take a break. We'll be right back. We've got developing news and the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to Storycon, or the Star Conference. I'm Ed Lingao, and with us, of course, Ami Pamintuan of the Star and Tito Rol Llamas, our political pundit. And next, our second guest for this Friday is from the Bureau of Local Employment of DOLE, Director Patrick Wirawan Jr. Sir, magandang hapon and welcome to Storycon.
Magandang hapon.
Sir,
good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us, sir. Sir, I'm reading the at least a portion of the IMF country report for 2024 December. It says here, artificial intelligence. Okay, here we go. Estimates of IMF is that 36% of jobs in the Philippines are highly exposed to AI. And that's almost 4 out of 10. And of that, there's 14% of the total workforce at risk of being replaced by AI. That's around 1 out of every 7 workers in the Philippines. So medyo malaki-laki yun.
Halimbawa, ang growth corridor kasi natin sa ating industriya ay the BPO sector. Diba? At yung sector na yan yung pinaka-vulnerable sa artificial intelligence na hindi na kailangan ng masyadong maraming tao. AI na yung papalit. So, yung growth corridor na yan ay pwedeng tamaan. Kaya hindi naman ganun ka off the mark yung statement ng IMF.
Yung estimate. So, sir, are you seeing the same future for Philippine labor?
Of course, we continue to monitor yung mga transformations po na ito, Sir Ed, na nangyayari sa labor market. And of course, part of that is looking at what would be the skills required by our companies in the private sector. Ano yung mga competencies na kakailanganin po nila? And do we have the supply or the workforce for these vacancies that will be emerging in the near future? And so, of course, we continue to monitor yung mga tinatawag nating emerging industries. And tama po kayo, based on these studies from the different organizations, lumalabas po talaga yung mga routinary, repetitive tasks and skills ay madaling very vulnerable to automation and digitalization.
Pero sir,
Pero Director, nagsalita na din dyan ng yung Association ng Business Process Outsourcing Group saka IT. Sabi nila, yun naman daw mga tao nila, they are learning new skills using AI actually. So nagkakaroon ng reskilling, upskilling, So hindi sila masyadong takot. Masyado bang optimistic yung pananaw na yon, Director, sa nakikita nyo on the ground?
Tama po kayo, Ma'am Amina. Actually, isa po yan sa nakikita nating areas for collaboration with the private sector. Yung pong mga upskilling and reskilling interventions po na ginagawa nila ay importante para sa kanilang mga employees, lalo na yung mag-a-adapt po ng mga technologies. No? But of course, on part of the government, sa Department of Labor and Employment, we have our developmental intervention that would cater to needs of our employers, particularly looking at how we can increase yung awareness ng ating mga workers, students na papasok sa workforce. So lahat po ng ito, pinaghahandaan natin. For example po, sa ating mga youth beneficiaries for our youth employability programs, we have already introduced yung awareness nila sa digitalization, how to navigate itong mga digital platforms. In fact, in our youth employability programs, we have our youth employability exchange. It's a digital platform where our youth beneficiaries can actually navigate and check ano yung mga opportunities na pwede nilang tignan to improve their core and life skills po na gagamitin nila sa kanilang mga work experiences po.
Ang problema ay AI as well as robotization ng ating industry ay talagang binabawasan ang human element. So kahit i-develop natin yung skills ng ating mga workers ay talagang binabawasan yung human element. So saan natin sila ilalagay? No, yun yung problema hindi lamang sa Pilipinas kundi sa buong mundo. No, ito yung dilemma ng buong mundo. Yung robotization at saka yung artificial intelligence ay talagang binabawasan dramatically yung human element sa industriya.
We also observe that, Sir Ronald, no? And tama po kayo dyan. Kaya po, nag-shift din po ang DOLE sa aming mga youth employability programs. From before that we call it life skills training, now we call it core skills. Core skills na tinatawag natin na hindi lang tinitignan yung mga fundamental or yung mga low skill na dapat meron yung mga ating mga youth beneficiaries, but importante na dapat meron sila ng mga critical thinking, high level skills po na kakailangan nila, problem decision making, time management and all those other core skills po na binibigay natin sa ating mga youth beneficiaries. Importante po na ma-build at the early stages of development para masiguro natin yung employability nila in the future. But that's not just it po, no? Meron pa tayong mga skills development interventions under TESDA, which is also of course under DOLE. No? Sa TESDA po, meron na po silang mga courses on generative AI, which introduces yung awareness sa ating mga tech-book level ng mga workforce po. No? And of course, we have our PRC who caters to the needs of our professionals, looking at continuing professional developments, prioritizing areas on digitalization and artificial intelligence. So we're making sure na lahat ng stages of development po ng ating workforce, meron tayong interventions that looks into yung digital skills po ng ating mga kababayan. But not only that, meron po tayong Philippine Digital Workforce Competitiveness Act. It's a new law which creates a council that monitors all digital skills training provided by the government, not just by DOLE, even other departments po katulad ng TICT and DTI for all our for different interventions. And we need to make sure that all these interventions have the same intentions of increasing employability of our workforce.
Meron ba tayong ganung strategic national plan ang DOLE para saan ba natin dadalhin ang ating labor? No? Ano yung ating comparative advantage? Ano yung magiging key result areas in 5 years, in 10 years? No? Dahil yung mga kapitbahay natin meron ganun eh. Kaya nalampasan na tayo ng Vietnam eh. No? Nag-scale up sila in terms of education, nag-scale up sila in terms of technical capability, tapos dito nila dadalhin. No? They're even producing their own electric vehicles now eh. No? Na talagang dinesign nila yung kanilang economy at yung kanilang labor papunta sa isang specific direction. So far, wala akong nakikitang ganun eh. Meron ba kayong plano na gumawa ng ganyang klaseng...
Director, idagdag ko rin kay Ronald kasi for the longest time, ang pinagmamalaki ng Pilipinas in terms of labor is the language advantage. That we are very proficient
Hindi na ngayon
in
yun.
English. Well, kahit hindi na ngayon pero ang tagal kasing ganun. Pero kasi with the advent of AI is basically large language modeling. AI basically uses language models to build to build answers. So AI has taken over that what used to be our advantage because now anybody can use AI.
Yeah, lalo na medyo nagde-deteriorate yung ating education system, no? Yung ating
Hindi lang medyo, ikaw naman napakabait mo.
Pabait ako. Yung ating learning poverty is 91%.
Itatanong ko nga yun ano epekto noon yung quality of education natin. You need a pretty high level of education to understand tech
Yes.
Di ba? Hindi ba malaking problema yan sa mga program nyo?
Yes, so just to answer the first question po, we have existing policy instruments and directives. No? Una-una po dyan yung Philippine Development Plan. And from the PDP, we have, of course, our Labor and Employment Plan. In the Labor and Employment Plan, we focus on 3 things for our workers. Unang-una po, increasing their employability, making sure that yung skills, yung competencies nila ay angkop sa pangangailangan po ng industriya, ng private sector, and of course, yung mga vacancies po na pinopost natin. And pangalawa po, yung expanding access to opportunities. And while we make sure that they are employable, dapat may access sila sa mga vacancies po na ito at sa mga opportunities po na ito. Dapat alam nila kung nasan yung mga opportunities na ito. And of course, pangatlo po, yung pagsisiguro na we don't do this on our own. Hindi lang po gobyerno ito. Kasama po natin dito ang private sector at ang ibang mga development partners natin at ang mga manggagawa po para masiguro po na we have full of a society approach in tackling this issue po.
Okay. Maraming salamat for joining Storycon Director Patrick Patiwirawan, Jr. from the Dole Bureau of Local Employment. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Salamat, Director.
Thank you, Director.
Maraming salamat po.
Happy weekend! Happy weekend, Ami!
No?
Happy weekend.
Sabado na bukas.
See you. Hindi pa see you next year, next week pa.
May butal pa tayo. May budget pa sa Lunes.
Meron ka. May 2 araw pa. Isa pala, isa. Isa lang.
May malaki pa tayong pag-uusapan sa Lunes bago magtapos ang taon. Yung budget na pipirmahan daw come December 30. So,
Tuesday.
Yes.
Tuesday pa. Tuesday is 31.
30 daw ang signing.
Oo nga.
30.
Monday is 30.
Okay.
So, Monday.
27 nga pala ngayon.
Yun. So, yun. So, brush up on your numbers again.
Tingnan natin kung ano sasabihin ng Philippine Star sa mga marites sa line dito.
Okay. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Tita Ami Pamintuan ng Philippine Star at Tito Rol Llamas, ang ating resident political pundit.
Anytime, Lolo Ed. No?
Tito na nga tawag ko sa iyo. Lolo, patawagin sa akin. Kaya talaga, laking pakasama. Diyan sa ganun, Monday at 4 p.m. for the Storycon. I'm Ed Lingao. We are one news, all sides, all the time.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.